I am Superintendent Michael Grego. Thank you for making Pinellas County Schools your choice. Please continue to hold. Someone will be with you shortly.
Parents, does Pinellas County Schools have your current phone number and email address? We use your contact information to send you calls and emails.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Denise with Matt over in Tampa.
Hey, Denise.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right. Hey, Melissa. I guess we'll get started. If you just want to go through whoever's logged on, and we'll do introductions to start with.
Okay, great. So hi, everybody. I am Melissa with JMT. And let's see, we have on the line, we'll start with Mark Easty.
I'm Sergeant Mark Easty. I'm here for Pinellas County Community Traffic Safety Team. I'm also DUI and Traffic Homicide Supervisor for Pinellas County Hsip.
Thank you. All right, Mike Zen.
Yeah, I'm Mike Zen with Florida Department of Transportation, your CTST Program Manager.
Thank you. Sandra Noble.
Sandra Noble, Forward Pinellas, Crash Data.
Thank you. Mashi?
Good morning, Mashi Doris, the American Quality Consultant, FDOT Safety Ambassador.
Thank you. Captain Heather Glennie?
Good morning, I'm Captain Glennie with FHP. I have Pinellas operations for FHP as well as special operations.
Thank you. Autumn Westerman?
Hi, I'm Autumn Westerman with Pinellas County Schools Transportation Safety Department.
Thank you. Joan Rice?
Joan Rice, Pinellas County Public Works.
Thanks, Joan.
Schools
Deputy Miller?
and special.
Deputy Miller, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, Traffic Division.
Thank you. Janice Martinez?
Good morning, everyone. Janice Martinez, Law Enforcement Liaison for DOT here in District 7.
Thank you. Jonathan Kuntz?
Hi, Jonathan Kuntz, Pinellas County Public Works.
Thank you. Cassidy Perry?
Hey, Cassidy Perry from the City of Pinellas Parks Police Department. So I'm over the traffic unit and traffic homicide investigators.
Thank you. Mike Blickensdorf?
Good morning, Mike Blickensdorf, Largo Police Department. I run our traffic safety unit.
Thank you. George Edmondson?
Good morning, everyone. George Edmiston, Benish, and I'm the District 7 Safety Consultant.
Thank you. Robert Wallace?
Robert Wallace, Florida Department of Transportation.
Thank you. All right, Joe Camara.
Good morning, everybody. This is Joe Camara, Pinellas County Schools, Safety and Transportation.
Thank you. Doug Hanson?
Morning, everyone. Doug Hanson, retired transportation planner living in St. Petersburg.
Thank you. Julie Bond?
Julie Bond, Center for Urban Transportation Research at USF.
All right, Lori Paleo?
Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Paleo from JMT.
Thank you. Brandy Howard?
Good morning, Brandy Howard, Executive Director of Suncoast Safety Council.
All right, Anthony Boone?
Anthony Boone, Tarpon Springs Police Department with the Traffic Safety Unit.
All right, Mike Frederick?
Good morning, City of St. Petersburg Transportation Department.
Thank you. Chelsea Favreau?
Hey, good morning. This is Chelsea Favreau with Ford Pinellas.
Thank you. Jennifer Nix McGerald?
Good morning, Jenny Nix McGerald, Element Engineering.
Thank you. And then we have Denise with Matt on the line.
Good morning. This is Denise with MAD.
Thank you. And did I miss anyone when calling out the roster of folks? Okay.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Welcome, everyone. We'll go ahead and get an approval for the January 2022 minutes. Someone to approve, and then obviously someone to second it.
I'll approve. Sandra?
This is Doug. I second it.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Doug. All right. Next thing we'll move into is enforcement. I'll start with Captain Glennie. Do you guys have anything from FHP?
Sorry, not today. We've been working on keeping our response times low, and the troopers have been upping their game a little bit on the DUI and the drug arrest enforcement.
Thank you. Sergeant Blickendorf with Largo.
Nothing going on at this time.
All right. Officer Boone with Tarpon Springs Police Department.
Good morning. We're having our Mears Boulevard extension opening up this weekend, and it runs from Florida Avenue all the way to US Highway 19. And we're getting a lot of complaints on speeding and sure that that's going to be a high area. So we're going to try to, one, put out extra enforcement and notifications. But that's our biggest spot right now.
Wasn't Mears on that problem list that we have, that problem location?
Yeah, it was on the list, and now we were told that the rest of Mango Street will be open, which will take you to US Highway 19, and it's only southbound at this point when you get to 19 that you can go, but obviously we're getting cars turning off of it, and the speed limit is 25 to 30, and we're hitting anywhere between 50 and 55.
Okay. All right. So for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, last month we did a just an internal motorcycle detail on January 12th, which is a Wednesday night, and for those that, especially law enforcement folks in and around the Largo, Pinellas Park area, that's a big problem because of Quaker Steak, and then across the street, Barracudas. So I don't know the exact numbers, but I know we had a bunch of fleeing to eludes. One of them, the car was actually on fire when it was fleeing from us, and they got trafficking amounts of narcotics out of it. So it was a successful night. I want to say we probably had about 6 or 7 fleeing to elude arrests, a bunch of drug charges and so forth. We also did on the 26th, we were supposed to go up in the helicopter and do speed enforcement on the bay side, but that week had pretty bad weather, so we couldn't go up, but we ended up still doing some speed enforcement on the Bayside Bridge. Thankfully, nothing over 100. I think the highest we had was 92 miles an hour, which is what we typically see when I do go up in the helicopter as far as speeds are concerned. This month coming up next week, I'm attending the NHTSA, I think it's Region 4 conference in the Panhandle. For those, there's a free course, the standardized field sobriety testing course. It's hosted at Manatee County Sheriff's Office. It's free and it's local, so it won't cost you much except for sending your person to it. On February 23rd and 24th, I will be in Orlando for the Florida Impaired Driving Coalition meeting. We are also hosting that week, April 21st to the 25th, IPTM's motorcycle crash investigation class at our Sheriff's Office on Almerton Road. The following week, on February 28th to March 4th, IPTM is hosting their pedestrian bicycle crash investigation level 2 class there. So there's a bunch of, and both of those trainings are trust funded. So again, it's free to send your members to if you guys want to do so. That's all I have on our end. Was there any other law enforcement that I missed? Okay, doesn't look like it. So we'll go to engineering. Mike Frederick with St. Pete. You have any?
Just a couple updates. The BRT Sunrunner construction continues on the First Avenues with lane closures, parking restrictions. Notice driving it twice a day that during rush hour, at least, through traffic seems to have reduced their speed accordingly. I don't know. I haven't seen any major crashes or heard of anything with the speeds being lower. And February 27th is the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg downtown. So they've already started with lane closures, road closures in preparation to getting the barriers out on that. So increased traffic from that. And the last thing is we've completed conversion of 80 intersections to leading pedestrian intervals. And our signal guys continue to work with FDOT and programming other corridors. Thanks for Mashid for help with that.
Thank you for all your help. All your guys were awesome, Kevin Jackson and you, and luckily now we can get some funds coming your way too. So I'm working on the signal cabinet upgrades and controller upgrades.
Yeah, and that'll allow us to do a lot of the older intersections with the old cabinets that aren't compatible. That's
Yes.
it for us.
Hey, Mike, I have a question about that. One thing I've noticed is that, you know, when you come to those new bus stations, the road, you have to curve. And I was just wondering, is there any way to get some road curvature signs, you know, like, you know, the half curve because the lane does adjust, because people come up to those things and all of a sudden they see that they got to curve around, or is that problem going to go away once this system opens?
Yeah, two things. Technically, it's not classified as a curve. It is
or a detour, I mean.
Yeah. It's a shift in the lane, and it's within the allowable limits of the MUTCD for a lane shift without additional signage, just markings.
Okay.
But it's not the final pavement marking for the corridor. They'll be starting this month with resurfacing from 16th Street westerly. And once the road's resurfaced, they'll have the permanent markings in there, and it won't be so drastic. But they've done that in order to maintain vehicle separation from the construction site.
Okay, and when you say resurfacing, are they just oiling over and to paint the markings? Or are they actually milling and repaving the road?
Yep. Mill and resurface.
Okay.
And that'll include green lanes for the BRT bus on the left side.
And is this for the whole stretch of the project on both First Avenue North and First Avenue South?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mike. George, you have anything?
I do. I just want to remind all Pinellas law enforcement agencies we'll have a meeting next Tuesday at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for our enhanced law enforcement engagement. It'll be at 1:30 at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. I know, Mark, you'll be out of town. Sergeant Giles will be in place, and St. Pete and all the others, they're all invited. They got the invite, so we'll see y'all next week, and that's it.
Yeah. I would like to attend that. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town.
George, is there a virtual option for that?
There's not, because what we're doing is on a thumb drive. So PCSO's got their own setup, and we're going to 4 different locations. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that ability. That's why I made sure that Mark's got a replacement. I know TPD, Sergeant College from Tampa is going to be covering. So we're going to give them all the packets of information. Obviously, if there's any questions, we're always available to answer those. But between myself, Julie Bonnet-Cutter, and JMT and FDOT, I'm sure that anybody can reach out and get any answers they have. But it'll be pretty well explained in a pretty simple process for everybody to follow.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, George. Anyone else from engineering?
I have something to add, just real quick, about the Pinellas Trail and Skinner Boulevard, which is also State Road 580 in the city of Dunedin. A new signal will be placed at that location. Right now, it's got our RFB crossings. The full signal will go in. Finalizing the plans right now, DOT is, and construction should start in March, and it'll be done by the end of March. So next month.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anyone else for engineering? Anyone for bike and pedestrian?
Hi, this is Julie Bond. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are having Florida Bike Month again. And so we're going to have a Love to Ride challenge during March. It's going to be Tampa Bay specific, plus it is central office and FDOT is sponsoring a statewide challenge. So I hope everyone will participate again. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you just log your rides. And also Ford Pinellas is planning a Bike Your City event. So I don't know if anyone from Ford Pinellas was going to talk about that, but that's in conjunction with the Florida Bike Month activities we're partnering with. And that's on March 18th in City of Gulfport. And we also have a league cycling instructor course this weekend. It will be held at Cutter, but Angela Ryan will be a new league cycling instructor for your area. She's going to participate and become certified this weekend. So those are just a couple things going on with education in Pinellas County. And also, I don't know if Mike wanted to mention, we are doing the Geo Fencing on Drew Street. So we're getting a lot of comments back on that. And so we have an education component with that where they're taking a survey and we're providing follow-up. So that is on Drew Street. So Mike, I don't know if you wanted to comment on the education we're doing there.
Yeah, George and Sergeant Negersmith from Clearwater PD has been actively working that. And I'm still fine-tuning some of the issues on that speed management out there for the city of Clearwater. But it's been a very good program so far, and I got to give a lot of kudos to Clearwater PD. George, you want to emphasize the program that Sergeant Negersmith's been doing with us?
Sure. Yeah. So before the Geo Fencing campaign actually started, they had received similar citizen complaints and started stepping up their enforcement efforts out there. Not only did they discover that they had some speeding issues out there, but they were also picking up a lot of DUI arrests, driving unsuspended, drug arrests, and things of that nature. So they've been real proactive. Clearwater PD volunteered their VMS on, so DOT didn't have to provide those. So there are 2 different locations, eastbound and westbound, and they'll stay out for the entire month. So between the enhanced enforcement from Clearwater PD during their normal hours, as well as the Geo Fencing, we're getting some great feedback and the messaging out there. It's a great program. This started at the Courtney Campbell, and we've been pushing these geofencing campaigns throughout the district, and it's really been successful, even through work zones recently as well.
Yeah, thank you, George. And yeah, I've talked to Sergeant Negersmith about some of the details he's been doing out there. So they've been doing some really awesome work. All right. Anyone else from engineering or bicycle pedestrian safety?
This is Doug Hansen. I just had a question. I was biking on the Pinellas Trail last night, and again, this is about the 3rd time. These 3-wheel motorized vehicles, I don't know what to call them. They've got motors on them, and there was 4 of them, and they come onto the trail, and they're going at a pretty fast clip. And I know electric bikes are allowed on the trail, but are these motorized 3-wheel vehicles allowed on the trail? It's kind of dangerous. They rev up their engines, they go pretty fast. And has anyone else experienced that?
Where at, Doug, on the trail?
It was definitely after I came out of the city of St. Petersburg. It was probably around between 24th and 28th Street, somewhere in that area. But they've showed up at different areas because sometimes I go west and I'll go over the Central Avenue, Pasadena Bridge, but it's mostly on the eastern end, and they just come out of neighborhoods, and like there was 4 of them last night in a row, and the enforcement would be kind of difficult because they're on there for about, I don't know, wherever they're going for about 5-10 minutes, then they're gone, and it's just really. Pardon me?
Are they young kids?
Actually, no. They were adults with some kids on them. Yeah, there were young kids on there. They weren't driving them. One time last summer, I do recall seeing some young kids coming on, actually driving it, but these were adults driving it with young kids with them. And they're like 3-seaters, and the driver and then 2 passengers.
All right, yeah, I'll reach out to St. Pete PD and see what they can do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so education. Brandy Howard, do you have anything?
I don't have anything new to share today. Just keeping our eye on legislative session, the DUI bill that isn't making its way through. So just keeping my finger on that.
Thank you, Brandy. Joe Camara, you have anything for schools?
Actually, it's been rather quiet, but we do want to thank Largo PD. We had a situation at Lake Palms, and one of the units showed up, took care of the problem for us, and the citizen or the parent went away quietly. And that's it.
Thank you, Joe. Janice, do you have anything?
We are still in concept paper writing season. I know I've worked with Largo a little bit, Clearwater. Mark, Pinellas County is always fantastic about that. St. Pete is also on board this year and moving forward with getting some grants in there. So just it's a busy month, and we have till the end of the month to get those concept papers in. So with any of my law enforcement agencies, if you need help, I'm literally inundated with our highway safety matrix this week, and I'm available anytime. So give me a call. And I'll be in the Panhandle next week with Mark Easty at the law enforcement conference for NHTSA.
Yeah, thank you, Janice. Yeah, looking forward to that. So, anyone else from education?
This is Denise with MAD. It was pretty quiet last month. We do have quite a few events coming up in the spring. We do have later this month, it's going to be Alcohol Awareness Day, that we're having a good-sized event with the kids over at Pinellas Park High School. And then we have Weeks of Awareness. I think the Sheriff's Office also put out on their Facebook for the Teen Driving Coalition. They're having speakers come out. So we have them scheduled on the 6th of April. They'll be at Palm Harbor High School. And the fire department's actually going to come out and bring a truck. So there's some other things going on that day there. And then they'll be also at Bayside High School on 4/6. So those will be bigger presentations there. And then Osceola High School will have a prom and spring break event they're doing with us. And then we have our Walk Like Mad coming up on March 25th over in Tampa. So it's picked up, so hopefully we'll have some more to report next month. We'll I know I'll add some schools in by then.
Yes, thank you. And I forgot to mention we're going to be hosting a wolf pack on March 12th.
Okay.
Obviously, it's going to be the week before St. Patty's Day. We will have a saturation patrol that day, but that week is going to be difficult for us at the Sheriff's Office because it's also the same week as Valspar, and it's also the first week we're hosting DRE school. So, and I've been tasked with being the lead instructor for that. So I'll be instructing that, working late on St. Patty's Day, and then I have to walk with the golfers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that first week is going to be kind of tough because we were going to do something on St. Patty's Day. So instead, we picked the 12th. So as far as the other agencies, Largo, FHP, one of my members should be reaching out to you guys to give you the details. Obviously, it's just going to be the day, and we'll get that going. But that should be coming out shortly to you guys. But yeah, March 12th is when we're going to be doing that.
Okay, awesome. I got it down. So we'll be there. Just let us know whatever you need, and I've got it down for us.
Yeah, and actually, I'll probably get with you beforehand because the victim that we dedicated it to the last one in December, Pearl Sorensen, she wanted to donate drinks So she ended up writing me a check, but I got it after, because I was out of town. I got it after or the day of the wolf pack. So I'll be reaching out to you. I'm just going to write you guys a check. And she donated $50. So I'll get with you guys, get the check to you, and you guys can use that to buy the drinks and stuff for that wolf pack.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you for that. Well, I know you'll reach out to me before too, so I'll work something out.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else with education or EMS?
This is Julie again. I just wanted to mention our high school teen traffic safety ed program is really going strong, and George has been very successful in getting into all the high schools again this semester. So he may want to comment on that quickly, but we're very excited that that's going so strong. And we also have been with Pinellas County Schools, we have a scholarship program going, and we're trying to get more driver's ed teachers trained. So George, did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So yeah, I've reached every high school in Pinellas County, but the greatest news is that scholarship program. So DOT kind of stepped up, and we talked about what was happening amongst driver's ed programs across the state, how they were a dying class, that so many schools were dropping the program. As a matter of fact, in the past 2 years, I lost 4 high schools from retirements, and they never filled them through attrition. The biggest issue was the cost associated with becoming a certified, DLAP certified driver's ed teacher. There was about a $3,000 cost for the teacher, out-of-pocket cost. So we came up with a scholarship program. As a matter of fact, we have 6 current students, Pinellas County teachers, right now enrolled at Minot University getting their driver's license, driver's ed certification. As a matter of fact, the Pinellas County Superintendent's Office, their supervisor for the programs, actually dedicated 4 new high schools reopening new driver's ed programs. So Pinellas Park, Seminole High School, schools that no longer had programs have them. And they've got 2 additional to fill in for some retirements coming up here this year. So they're really ahead of the game. We're doing the same thing in Hillsborough County. So we're trying to get this program strong. It's one of those programs, the only class you'll ever take in high school that will truly save your life. A history class won't do that, but a driver's ed class will. And we really want to make sure that this program stays alive. And this is just another great way that DOT stepped forward and provided assistance to get those teachers certified and back in the classrooms. That's it.
Thanks, George. Yeah, that sounds really good.
Mark, I did have one other thing that Denise reminded me of. We're going to be supporting the Alcohol Awareness Day at Pinellas Park High School as well. We're going to be providing the McConnell family crash car and the pedal cars and fatal vision goggles as well.
Perfect. All right. Anyone else have anything to add outside of education and everything else?
Hey, George, I have one question. You were talking about the law enforcement meeting or something like that. Can you go over what that was again?
Yeah, so it's a law enforcement engagement meeting next Tuesday for all Pinellas County agencies. We have them for the entire district, but this one will be held at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office at 1:30 on Tuesday the 8th. And I put in the chat box my contact information. If anyone that's on the meeting in law enforcement's not aware of it, I'm sure you're all aware of it, all your police chiefs are. Please feel free to give me a call and I can answer any questions you have. But we're going to cover that whole program next Tuesday, and everybody should leave with all the information they need. And that's it. Is that it? Good.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to old business. If we could put up the problem locations. I know we already talked about mirrors so far. All right, so first one is US 19 and 298th and 97th Ave. Deputy Miller, do you have an update on any of that?
Well, they're still cutting over the last minute, and they're still getting citations. This is a constant problem. Looks like it's not going to go away anytime soon, because everybody wants to get home, and they don't want to wait in line. So I guess we just have to educate some more.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's it. That's all we have to do. There's nothing that we can do to change any of the lanes or the delineators, because the delineators are there There's nothing really that we can do anymore other than blocking, well, otherwise than putting a delinear line up the side road, which that really is not feasible to block them from going around. But we'll just have to educate some more.
All right. What about the other two locations, US 19 and Lime?
That's Tarpon Springs. Is Tarpon on?
Officer Boone?
Yes, sir. We're probably having at least, I would say, an average of 3 to 5 crashes a week right there for the cars turning in. If you're northbound on US Highway 19 and turning left across the southbound traffic. And a lot of it's due to the backing up at MLK, and you get lane 1 and 2 stop, and they tell the driver to come across in lane 3. So other than our traffic unit, I know you guys are aware Mike Roki is still out with COVID issues, and our other traffic guy who was coming, Jacob Hollingsworth, he just resigned and went back up north. So we're down 2 traffic guys and fighting everything else like everyone else with the COVID. So that's all I have for 19 and Lime.
All right. Thank you, Officer Boone. School zones for Tampa Road and 19th Street. Did you email Mike Zinn, Howie, reference the stuff that he can help out with?
We discussed at the last meeting about putting extra signs on, but it's very hard to regulate them because I had the top speed of 55 one time last week in a 15. It seems as though when they leave the light, they think the school zone is over, and then they just floor it. Maybe if they can put like signs on the medium that just says school, like school crossing, no line markings or anything, to show them that there is a school. If you look to the left of you, it's still in session. Because people, I think they think when they leave the light, they think the school zone is over. And another thing, it's education. I mean, I sit in the middle of the road with a marked cruiser. They see me right in the middle of the road, and they still go past me at 50 miles an hour. I said, I don't know what else I can do to try to slow them down.
Well, somebody that driving 50 in a 15 in a fully marked school zone with a fully marked patrol car is obviously not paying attention to anything. So they're only going to learn by, unfortunately, getting a citation. If they're that distracted that they can't, realize that it's an active school zone.
And just for everybody's, request is that I went to court on one of them, 49 miles an hour, and the judge imposed a $750 ticket plus court costs. And that person had a clean driving record. So it's not the normal 456. So it's a steep fine.
And I know.
I'm sorry. Is it on both 19th and on Tampa Road? I mean, is it the confusion about not knowing if you are in a school zone or not?
No, it's Tampa Road and 19th Street. It's not 19th Street. And if I'm correct, Howie, that's west of US 19, right?
That is correct.
Yep.
It's west.
And I know one of the issues that got brought up last month was traffic citations in traffic court. People getting off easy, and I know for the law enforcement on the line, they know, they hire a ticket clinic attorney and they ask for the withhold, and depending on their record, they may or may not get it. But I can say, even from being in traffic court recently, that they are getting harsher with very egregious violations, like passing a school bus, speeding in a school zone, or egregious speed. Like the stuff that we do on the Bayside Bridge. They're not as easy to give a withhold, and they're handing out hefty fines. They're basically fining them the max that they can. So at least that's good on their end, because it doesn't set that precedence. Well, if I just get a ticket, I'll just pay, these ticket clinic attorneys, and I want the points on my license. Well, that's shortly going away, thankfully, at least again, for a lot of these egregious traffic violations.
Absolutely. And when I go to court, I depending on their traffic record, I object to a withhold, and I object to them lowering the fine, because and I bring up the premise that that's a state issued fine amount from the legislator, and they cannot lower it. They can increase it, but they can't lower it. And then they look at me and they don't know what to say. I mean, you're waiving your right for a minimum fine. That's what the argument is when you first start in court. But they can also increase the fine if they wanted to, but they can't lower it like for $100. And I object to that. And then they take it under advisement. And then I noticed later in the date that they give them the full fine amount.
Yeah, and some of the ticket clinic attorneys are kind of brazen too. I had one where it was I want to say 137 on the base side when we did a helicopter detail there, and he asked me if I didn't mind dropping the speed to 74, which was 19 miles an hour over the speed limit. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I'm not dropping it at all. And that ticket ended up getting continued a few times before they finally ended up having to change their plea to no contest and basically accept it by the judge. So it is getting better, thankfully, with, again, the more egregious violations, 50 over, passing school bus, speeding in a school and construction zone. So, all right. And then passing the school bus, I know Howie and Scott are out there, and I know all the other agencies are out there doing that as well. So
I average around, I put probably 12 a week just on Belcher and Hahn. And I sit there invisible, and they just run the bus stop signs.
Gotcha. George, do you have any update on this missing yield sign on 275 and Roosevelt that Jockers brought up?
Yeah, I gave him direct contact to the CEI for the job, and he was going to contact them, but I haven't heard back from Jockers to see if that issue was addressed. But they're very responsive to handling any of those requests, and that's Captain Glenny has that information as well. So all those agencies that work that jurisdiction have access to that CEI and his direct number. So any of those issues can go directly to them. You can bypass, since it's still under a construction zone. They own that whole MOT, so they handle all those issues. It's not a DOT issue until they turn jurisdiction back over to DOT for maintenance. Yeah. Okay.
All righty. Skinner Boulevard and the Pinellas Trail. I know Mike has another meeting. We can discuss that at the next one if he's got an update for it. And then light at Tarpon Mall. Officer Boone, do you have an update on that? Because it said Hollingsworth brought it up.
Yeah, we've had multiple incidents at that intersection because of the no left turn arrows. But my understanding, FDOT has a contractor coming in and they're working from Huey back to US Highway 19. And they're going to be adding it. It's just where we are now until it all gets approved and they start to work. But I heard it's supposed to happen in spring, but we're still fighting that battle.
All right, well, at least something's in motion, so. All right, and anything else? Anyone have any questions on this or any other issues that we need to add? Okay, all right, well, we'll move on. All right, next thing we will do, Mashid, do you want to go over HSIP?
Yes, thank you. So as you know, we've been working with, I've been working with Bill Reha and Peter Shu, working with cities and counties on this LPI implementation. We met our goal of 500 locations by end of last year. That was great. I want to thank Joan. Pinellas County actually stepped up as the first local government to help out and help with their own staff, Denita and Norm Jester, Steve Yateman, and then City of Clearwater, Corey helped us, Corey Martins, and then Mike talked about it, Mike Frederick and Kevin Jackson. So I really thank you all. Pinellas County helped with a lot compared to all the other counties in District 7 to implement these LPIs. Now we're working on the locations where the old equipment, like Mike said, are not compatible with implementing LPI. So FDOT Bill is working on a list of grants for town controllers and cabinets for different cities and counties. So I worked on that list the last 2 weeks, and Bill is working on funding it right now. So again, that was a great accomplishment. I haven't heard on Safe Routes to School, I haven't heard from anyone in Pinellas County that's working on applications. If you are, please let me know. And if I can help in any way, that'd be great. Also on any HSIP applications. So I'm always here to help. Please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Machine. Anyone have any questions or anything to comment on that? Alrighty, we'll move on to the fatal map status. So we'll start with final numbers from 2021, and unfortunately they didn't get any better from the last time. I know we were at 149, and it looks like we added another 4. Sandra, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, we still have one more upload coming in. So I'm pretty sure I have all the fatalities to date, but we still have one more upload, and I seem to always come up with a few more after that last upload, because the last one I have is like December 19th. So if for some reason I didn't catch one, it'll come in on this. So I'm going to put the final one out next month. For the fatalities, unfortunately, you know, it's rising. We had one more double come in, and I've been, you know, contacting the law enforcement agencies. So thank you so much for fixing the reports that I had requested and sending them back through DHSMV. So our crash system will have it as a fatal, you know, on some of these reports. But that was basically it. I did have there's a list that you can see. There's some stuff that's still in yellow and that needs verification, and that's because I have not received the reports through DHSMV. But everything is pretty much there. So there was just a couple questions. I think FHP and Pinellas County's getting back with me. I think everybody else, and Bel Air has one that I have to find out about, because the bicyclist hit a parked vehicle and died. And so I'm just trying to find out if it was a medical, but I have not heard back from them yet. And then I also added go ahead.
I have a contact over at Bel Air. I'll reach out to them and get that question answered, just to see if it's medical or not.
Yeah, well, I talked to the office. Well, I left him a message. I left 2 messages, but I think they were going to get back with me. But yeah, if you want to shoot him because that'll take one more fatal off if it was a medical.
Do you know who the officer was?
No, I don't have that on my other paperwork. It was just they sent me over to the records, and so he was gonna. Same with Clearwater, was going to get back with me on a couple. And then you had Pinellas County, y'all had one too that you have as a medical, up a little bit. Yeah, I have it as a medical, and y'all have it as a fatality in the crash data. But I believe he had a
Which
medical.
one was that? Where was the location?
It's down at the bottom under medical. Right there, the second one up on Pasadena Avenue South.
Yeah. Let me take a look at that one.
Okay. It says it was a medical.
I'll email you later on that one.
Okay.
That one's not ringing a bell, but it also that happened in June. So I'll get you an answer and I'll email you later.
Okay. And I also added I did the 5-year rolling average. And so far we're at, from 2021 back was 118% per year. And then before that, from 2020 back 5 years, it was 109. So our average has gone up. Hopefully this year will be better. I also included the 2020. I don't have a map made up yet, but I did have a listing of the 2022 fatalities for January. We're already at 7. And that ped scooter, is that the one I see out on, he was trying to lift his bike over a concrete median or something and got hit? The last one on 66th Street? It's a fatal, but.
Mark, you're muted. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a, if I'm not mistaken, and Captain Glennie, if she's still on, she can at least chime in. I'm pretty sure that's the hit and run fatal that they had last Saturday.
Okay. He's going to be considered a pedestrian because he was trying to lift his scooter over a concrete barrier and fell into the roadway and got hit. And they're trying to, I guess, see that. Okay. So yeah, I just listed him as a pedestrian.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we're at 153 for 2021, and hopefully we could just put 2021 behind us and get back to, it would be nice to be under 100. And, I mean, we're already at 7, so, hopefully things, as much as I say, putting signage out there, putting warnings, I'm in training right now. I was going to warn you guys if you hear a lot of loud noises. I'm at the range, but they broke everyone for lunch apparently. But yesterday when I was on Ulmerton Road, the amount of pedestrians that I saw at the last minute because they're standing in the median, and this is at 6:30 in the morning, crossing mid-block wearing dark clothing. It's and some of the people, I'm sure they've been stopped before. And I just don't understand why they continue to do that. Put themselves in danger because there's only one winner in a vehicle versus ped crash, and that's going to be the car. And again, like they just keep doing this stuff. And I know for myself when I do stop a pedestrian, I write them a citation because I don't think a warning really gets through to them. Some people I talk to, do you understand the severity of what could happen? And they just kind of brush it off. Well, I think writing them a citation is one way to be like, okay, well, I don't want another citation. At least that may deter them from doing it because obviously, the danger of being hit by a car is not high on their list as opposed to being fined, $47.50. For a pedestrian violation. So, and then the other thing I want to mention, and this just goes out to the law enforcement folks, it was either late 19 or early 20, USF Cutter, I forget his name, he's a doctor over there that does, Janice, what's his name? He's on the Motorcycle Coalition.
Ken Young, Dr. Lee.
Yeah, Dr. Lee, I'm sorry. One of the studies that he did was it was a study on impaired driving crash reports that still have pending toxicology. And the average for the state of Florida for law enforcement agencies was like, I want to say 45% of crashes were still pending. And these were crashes where it's not like they happened a week or 2 weeks ago because the law enforcement folks know that sending toxicology to get the results, you're probably looking at anywhere from a 4 to 8 week turnaround. Now, he was talking about crashes that were a year, almost 2 years old, but the agency has forgotten to update the crash report with either the alcohol and or drug results in it. So for the folks that in law enforcement that use Trax actually built a search function so you can search any report that still shows pending toxicology. So just as a reminder to the law enforcement folks to, either have a reminder set. If you use Trax, you can use that search function, whatever you guys use for a traffic crash. reporting, just, you know, have some way to be able to remind yourself 4, 6, 8 weeks later, hey, I need to, you know, one, get the results from the toxicology, because obviously you're going to need it for your case file. But on the second note is to update it in DHSMV so that we have accurate statistics. And I know Janice will agree with this. You know, the more accurate the statistics are, the more money that can get funneled into traffic safety programs, enforcement, and all that stuff. That's one of the things that got brought up in the Florida Impaired Driving Coalition meeting. So, like I said, if you guys can, the law enforcement folks, just, you know, be on top of those pending toxicology cases, we'll have a much more accurate statistics each year.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. And I think, because I've talked to Dr. Lee about this, and a big thing was that a lot of the agencies had them, but because the cases have been turned over to the homicide investigators, the actual crash report themselves were not being updated. And that was the problem. So that when our engineers and our educators go to pull these crash reports, that's the only thing you have access to is the crash report. You don't necessarily pull the homicide report. So it's really important to get those actual physical crash reports updated, not just the homicide reports.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, because that's I think that was one of our downfalls. We were updating our case file, but we never went back into the crash report to update that either. So so now, you know, we have it's me. I'm the one that goes into it every month, and I update it monthly to make sure that we're, you know, we don't have anything missing. And then obviously, you know, when Sandra, you know, sees some discrepancy, you know, make sure that we, you know, get back to her in a timely manner so that she can, you know, get her stuff accurate as well and send these statistics off.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions on? Go ahead.
I was just going to say the hard copy sheet is not what's reflected in the CDMS system, our crash data system. However, that's what I pull. And then as I've tried to stay on top of it throughout the year so I don't inundate everybody like at the end of the year. But yeah, I sometimes can, you know, when it comes back through, I just tell them to resubmit it to DHSMV, and then it'll eventually come back in. And so last year, I believe we were at 108, and I have 107 records in there. So it just, you know, takes a little while to get them all in sync, but I appreciate all the help that everyone gives me in getting those accurate and resubmit it. Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions on the fatal map for 2021 and then this year's 2022? All righty, we'll go on to the Pinellas trail usage.
Yeah, this is a report that Angela puts out. So I have the December counter usage location, and then also I think she had in the annual, the next one, she said just under 2 million people used the trail last year. And so that was kind of neat that that all came in. We could have been up in there. I think Angela said there's some other counters, but these ones are, but yeah, that was kind of interesting how it was almost 2 million. So if you have any questions or need anything on this, I just put these out there for her. She is the bike and ped planner. So if you have any questions on, you know, bike, ped, trail, any of that stuff, Angela Ryan is the girl in our office. So, thank you.
And to answer Doug's question, if I'm not mistaken, and at least I know in St. Pete, isn't the trail technically closed at night in the city of St. Pete?
Should be.
Doug on?
Hey, this is Chelsea, and I would defer to Joan Rice if she is on here, but the trail is considered a linear park, and it is closed at night throughout Pinellas County. I think that one little section in St. Pete has a different set of rules just for that one stretch in the Warehouse Arts area, but otherwise it is technically closed at night.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've noticed signs that say it is, you know, closed like in the 20th, 24th area or open to a certain time, but there's no signage anywhere else on the trail.
Yeah, the trail is closed at night. The other location that it is open is in the city of Dunedin between Skinner and Scotland. They have streetlights even out that because that's in their downtown district.
Yeah, I knew Dunedin stayed open because the people that walk to those establishments, it's safer for them to walk there. So I know Dunedin, theirs is open later, but I know the rest of the trail. So I'll get a hold of someone from St. Pete because we could probably remedy that issue with those because I'm pretty sure those the 3-wheel devices you're talking about are probably not allowed on the trail. So.
This is Doug. By the way, you may have noticed that there's a detour on the trail west of 16th Street. They're removing the overhead roof between two buildings. And it looks like they're about 3/4 the way done. Does anyone know when that project's going to be finished?
Mike Frederick, do you know anything about that? Because that's in the city of St. Pete.
Yeah, sorry, no, I haven't been involved with that.
That's okay. It was just a curiosity question because it looks like they're about 3/4 the way done. And because we had been reporting problems with lighting under that overhang, and only a quarter of the lights were working, and at dusk it was really dangerous under there. It was really dark. So that problem's going to be resolved, which is a good thing.
All right, sounds good. All right, I know we got high crash intersections on there, but I don't think we have a map for it. I know the law enforcement folks, we have our own hotspot maps. I know FHP does them as well. So does anyone have anything that they would like to bring up for new business?
The high crash, Mark, I just want to say that high crash intersections, those reports that I sent out for, if you need any updates to those, that is for each individual. They're like little reports that we can run. It's not a map, but it is a report. So.
Well, yeah, you run the report, but then you can put it into a GIS system, and then they develop like hotspot maps. But again, I think all our law enforcement knows where our enforcement needs to go. So,
Hey,
all right,
Mark.
anything else? Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I'll be providing those maps next week to every agency. We've got all the 2021 data, includes vulnerable roadway users and motor vehicle crash. So all that stuff is hotspot mapped, and every agency will walk away with their hotspots for 2021.
Perfect. And I'm glad you brought up the vulnerable users because looking at the 2021 map, that they had 60%, at least for pedestrians, for the fatal crashes last year.
Yeah, I think Sandra's number and Peter's numbers were not too far apart, but I think we were almost at a 70% figure for all three for vulnerable roadway users. So yeah, we definitely need to work on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you for that, George. Anyone else have anything? So looking, it says our next meeting will be March 3rd in person. I would suggest we can host it at the sheriff's office. For one main reason, I am in training that week, and I'm in training at the sheriff's office, so it'll be easy for me to break away from the class for about an hour to go run this. So does anybody have any objections for the in-person meeting next month to be at the sheriff's office? Alrighty. So
You're muted, Mark.
it'll be in the same room that we had it in last time, which is our read-off room where when Janice was there and we had the presented the awards. So I will reserve that room because it is available. I just checked it when you guys were talking. So so I will get that reserved, and I'll send Melissa. I'll send you the information so you can put it out. Actually, I'll send it to you and Mike.
Okay, we'll get it updated on the website.
Yep. All right. Before we leave, does anybody have anything?
Super Bowl. So fans don't let fans drive drunk. That is the NHTSA push for drive sober and get pulled over. So that's our social norms, and that's what we're pushing out for that.
And we will be worked because it's on a Sunday. Somebody told me, and I haven't heard anything, that they were toying with the idea of changing the Super Bowl to either a Friday or a Saturday, because I guess a bunch of people are banging at work on Monday because of their extracurricular activities after the Super Bowl, depending if their team won or lost. Has anyone else heard anything about that?
No.
Okay, so it'll probably still be on Sunday. We will be out Sunday. We're going to do a saturation patrol for Super Bowl Sunday with our grants. So, alrighty. Okay. Well, if nobody has anything, everyone have a good day, and then we will all see you in person at the sheriff's office next month.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.
Look forward to it.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.